What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. I have no idea why you guys love these late night videos, but there are a couple of cards that have come out. I haven't got to read any of these, so this is a reaction video, and I've heard there's a new Salamangreat and there's a new Marincess. I'm very apprehensive to read the Marincess as it needs to bring everything together, and I hope the Salamangreat's not too busted. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So the Yu-Gi-Oh organization says Codebreakers and several cards from the final story arc. We've got Codebreaker 0 Day, a level 4 Dark Warrior effect monster, attack 1800, so Rota target. A Link monster that is linked with this card, except a Codebreaker Link monster, loses 1000 attack. So they want you to go up into Codebreaker monsters specifically. If a Codebreaker Link monster is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is already in the monster zone, destroy this card. So there's a punish effect for him. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add a Codebreak 0 Day from your deck to your hand. Another copy of himself, but he isn't really accessible to bringing himself out to the field. You can destroy him with your own card effects, at least. It's not dependent on the opponent. And I guess it can also get that effect by you destroying other things, so maybe there's combo breakers to be had. Interesting start to the Codebreakers. Next up, we've got Salamangreat Zebrafur X. This is a level 4 Fire Cybers effect monster, attack 1500, defense 1000, and boy do we have a wall of text for its two effects. If a Salamangreat Link monster you control leaves the field due to an opponent's card effect, and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon 2 level 4 Salamangreat monsters from your graveyard, including this card, and if you do, immediately after this effect resolves, XC summon 1 Salamangreat Xyz monster using these 2 monsters only. Let me get this straight. Leaves the field due to an opponent's card effect, and it's in your graveyard. So I guess it still works on the opponent's turn as a trigger, so it's a graveyard resource that goes, haha, but it's specifically the rank 4 Salamangreat that you're trying to make on their turn. I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to give it more of a reason to be around. Second effect, a monster XE summoned using this card on the field as material gains this effect. Gains 300 attack times its materials. A little bit of a boost. Okay, makes some sense. Not the greatest card, but still a pretty cool resource. I don't know that it'll be shoving the rank 4 into play all of a sudden, but a pop-up from the graveyard to try to live, I do respect it a little. I see the Marincess card. I'm sorry, boys. I can't wait. Let's just jump into this. Marincess Basilalima? That's my first attempt at saying that name. A level 4 Water Cybers effect monster. Attack 600. You don't want to go with defense 2100. Let's see what she's got for us. You can only activate the first and third effect of this card's name once per turn. You can banish 1 Marincess trap from your graveyard. Add a Marincess trap with a different name from your deck to your hand. So they do have an in-archetype impermanence. This is a little exciting. You can basically search any one, but that screams grind game. You have to have had a trap in the graveyard in order to do it, and it goes for a different name. If a monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. That's also a nice effect. If this card is banished, you can target a face-up monster you control. It gains 600 attack, a little boost. Marincesses love their attack boosting. Does it tie everything together? Not really. You're not going to be running Foolish Burial Goods just to get a plus off of her back, I don't think. This is kind of weird to me. I don't dislike it, but it isn't the springboard that the deck needed. No Marincess buyouts happening here from this singular card. Let's see what else we've got. A Codebreaker Virus Berserker, Link 3 Dark Warrior Link effect monster. I remember the last Link 3 Dark Warrior. Attack 2800, Link's top, right, and bottom. That was a Rusty Barty's joke, by the way. I don't actually remember what was the last Link 3 Dark Warrior. Materials, 2+ monsters, including a Codebreaker monster specifically, so you just need one of those. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. When this card is special summoned and it's co-linked, you can special summon up to 2 Codebreaker monsters from your hand or graveyard to a zone a link monster points to on either side of the field. So you can give it to your opponent and get some resources off that way. As we saw with the first card, it can go ahead and get itself. Interesting. Also, during your main phase, you can destroy any number of spell or traps your opponent controls up to the number of Codebreaker monsters your opponent controls. So you do kind of want to give them these cards and then get their effects. Okay, this is interesting. I love when decks try to play in a different way than we're used to with Yu-Gi-Oh! So you want to give them something so that you can destroy it again and get extra bonuses. It's always a dangerous game, though, to give your opponents tools. Maybe a tool more so similar to Ibli, where like you can shut them off from special summoning, is something that this deck will need. Next up, we've got Codebreaker Virus Swordsman, a level 2 Dark Warrior Link effect monster with 2300 attack. That's a lot for a Link 2. Top and bottom arrows. Materials 2 effect monsters, so very generic. You can only use this card's first and second effects once per turn each. When this card is special summoned and is co-linked, you can special summon 1 Codebreaker 0 Day from your hand, deck, or graveyard to a zone a link monster points to on either side of the field. During the end phase, if this card in its owner's possession was destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. I like that this is completely generic. This is kind of cool. This doesn't even need to go in the archetype. It's a Link 2 2300. That's some of the biggest boy damage we've seen from a Link 2, and it has a positive effect to come back as a resource later should it not be banished. This is kind of a nice card, and it just works in archetype as well. Finally, we have Link Burst, a normal spell card. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Wow, so it must be pretty good. Target a Link monster you control, and 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy them, and draw 1 card. Generic Link support towards the end, but it's like, pop this, pop that, draw 1. I guess you could do it with low committal resource links like Link Rebo and All Mirage. I don't think this is the most absurd, insane thing in the world, but it is kind of cool in theorio. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere too crazy, though. It's one of those more basic cards I feel like a beginner would end up using, especially with that hard once per turn clause. Armored Beetron also came out today, and it's a Lone Fire for Cybers deck, says Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization, although I've actually read this one, not a reaction channel for this one. It's a Dark Cybers effect, level 2, 500/0. You can only use this card's first and second effects once per turn each. You can tribute this card and special summon 1 Cybers from your deck, except for Armored Beetron, but its effects are negated is the catch. Also, for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters except Cybers monsters. So you are floodgated into Cybers. That's not the worst thing in the world for a Cybers deck. You often end up in that position anyways, but the effect being negated is a little lackluster. The good news is that you don't need to normal summon him to gain this effect. You can just plop it out at any time. If a Link 3 or higher Link monster you control is destroyed by a battle or opponent's card effect, and this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it if it leaves the field. So again, kind of a chum blocker or an end play in the battle phase when you know they have no more responses, like their final attack, you get this guy out, you have something for later. Interesting that they are actually giving us such cards that are, you know, okay, I'm gonna get this again later. So for the Codebreakers initial impression, it doesn't do quite enough. I'm scared of leaving my opponent with stuff, but this Link 2 may be the most impressive thing. I want this Marincess card to be a little bit better, but I don't know what I expected. The Salamangreat, my memory's fuzzy on the rank 4. I just remember it not being worth it. I'd have to go back and read it and see if it is worth it on an opponent's turn. And the card crafting overall that you can destroy this yourself is good. It doesn't have to rely on opponent because you're going to give it to the opponent and you're going to take care of it and then you're going to get resources. I'm looking forward to see where the Codebreakers actually end up going. Another note with these cards, Armored Beetron is a V-Jump promo in Japan, so we have no clue when, where, or how it will pop up over here in the USA for product. I would like, maybe some clear connection with that in the future, but for now, it could pop up randomly in a special edition. It can end up in something like a March reprint set, Battles of Legend. You never know. So I just wanted to add that little tidbit. If you're looking forward to this, you're like, oh boy, a Lone Fire. Well, you might be waiting just a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy the conversation and the late night cards. And let me know what you think. I'm kind of a little bit not overly excited about how these cards went, but maybe you see something that I don't, and maybe this is something that the deck needed and the power resource. I'm just not seeing it personally.